Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I am the host of this special show, Fight CPS with Miss G, and Real Talk with Miss G. That is, and I have and I work for Attorney Vincent Davis. For those of you that don't know that, and we have a special guest today, Arceli Ferrer. I can't pronounce the last name. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. How do you pronounce your last name?
Ferrer.
Ferrer. I don't have that little touch. Ferrer. Um, she is actually believe it or not, she's an adoptive foster parent, right? And she's been waiting for her turn to be to have a baby, to adopt a baby. She's going to share with us a lot of information today of what the county does, especially around the holidays. We talked about this ourselves yesterday, and I knew that was true, but I wanted everyone to hear it from you because you literally you're contracted with the county because you have to be a foster parent to adopt, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And she's been waiting for 5 years. She said around the holidays, her phone is blowing up, literally blowing up for baby placements. Am I right, Arceli?
Correct.
Okay. And I want you now to tell everyone what you have gone through with CPS and um, what what did you have to do to become a foster parent to adopt, and the questions they asked you. So basically, we talked about that type of baby you're looking for to adopt, right? Whether it's white baby, mixed baby, Latino baby, whatever type of baby they ask, what type of baby are you looking for, right?
Right.
Go ahead and share it with the public. I think that's very important.
Yeah. So we got our started applying for our license in back in 2018. We've
Hmm.
had our license for 5 years now. It took us about 9 months to get it. We went to several classes because back then it was still in person. It took us 9 months. We got
Hmm.
our house approved, but we only had a one bedroom, so we wouldn't get much calls, and we didn't we didn't know how it really worked out. Not till after the pandemic we started getting more calls, and it's because we had moved, and by this time we had more bedrooms in our home. We purchased a home and were able to get a three-bedroom. Anyhow, we had more space for kids, and this time we contacted them, but because we wouldn't get a call, we went and signed up with the emergency response unit. And emergency response units, because of first placements, my phone was blowing up for the holidays, so I knew to be ready, and to prepare because the kids were coming overnight. And they also included me in this chat where they send you all the information of the kids, and it was almost like you can pick and choose, um, different races, sibling sets, mainly toddlers, some toddlers and youth. And at the time, I wasn't ready to do toddlers or youth. I would just take in babies. The majority I wanted is babies, but I wouldn't get calls. I wouldn't get calls when it was babies, because I was fostered to adopt. Now, it's been 5 years that we've been in the list, and all we've taken care of as foster is toddlers. And when we did receive the call for a baby that we could adopt because a baby was surrendered,
Hmm.
was last July. And they called us at around 3. They said to come and get the baby, and to be there before 5 o'clock because they were changing the I guess the nurses. So we rushed. We came home. We were out of the house. We came home, got our car seat, and drove to the hospital.
Hmm.
Um, and we took the baby, but they kept us in a different room. And they didn't have the baby at the where the baby section is. It was a separate room. As a matter of fact, it was curious to me that a nurse that was in heart and the heart department was giving us the baby. We didn't take any paperwork because I did an interview with a social worker in the hospital. The lady that I was supposed to speak to, she had left. And so the nurses just had me sign some paperwork and we, drove off with the baby and the paperwork, like what they give a mom when they like, so we left with the mom's paperwork. Um, and I thought it was awkward because usually we get all the proper paperwork, but I was just so excited. I didn't think nothing of it at the moment, so we left. We left the hospital. Um, a week after, we get a call from a social worker saying the dad wanted to see the baby and to have a visit with the baby, and we thought it was awkward because we this was a surrender case, and we were told we were able to adopt by this time. It's July 27th, and August 1st, we had already gone to court, and the judge had already told us pick out a name. So we were happy, excited. We didn't have any um, boundaries. Like, so we just went full force, head on with thinking that we could adopt this baby because it was brought to us by the adoption unit. Um,
When you say adoption unit, are you talking about a CPS adoption unit?
yes,
Okay, and when you say the nurse who was in the heart department, I guess where
the
people have.
cardiology. Yes, she was the one giving us. So she wasn't at the nursery with the babies. She said, I just called in here because to wait on you guys because you guys were gonna take the baby.
And did you know anything about that baby story about their parents or anything like that?
I was just told it was a surrender baby and the baby needed to get picked up.
It wasn't a surrender baby, was it, Araceli?
I don't think so now that how it all played out. It
Mm-hmm.
was most like they just needed someone to go pick up the baby
Mm-hmm.
because we didn't even have proper paperwork of the baby at the moment. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't, like I said, I didn't think nothing of it at the moment because I was just too excited. Um, Taking pictures and just holding the baby. I was beyond myself. We've been married for 13 years now. And at the time, it was the most exciting thing to me because we've been waiting for our turn for 5 years to get a baby. And finally, we get this call. We were beyond ourselves excited.
I'm so sorry, Araceli. But the reason you and I wanted to do this is because we wanted to bring awareness more and more. Because oftentimes they say that the mother is doing drugs or the baby has drugs in the system or what have you, but they target mothers who cannot afford an attorney. They target parents who, you know, gullible and naive, actually, because Araceli did meet the mother, the biological mom, and Araceli told me yesterday that she was so broken. She was so broken. And how did you feel about the mom when you met her?
So I felt that it was unfortunate that because she's so young, she's on her early 20s,
Hmm.
that this was done to her to her first son, who's 5 years old.
Hmm.
He had already he was close to getting her mom was gonna get the custody for that baby,
Hmm.
for the child, and so she knew then the mom would get the other baby, but she decided to surrender the baby, or at least that's what they told us. In reality, she told me that she doesn't feel that she got a chance to fight for the baby because when she had her place ready, no one would answer her and no one would come and check out her place to get her first baby back.
Um,
And she had been fighting with this all along.
mhm. And so basically, what the social workers have said to you about the actual parent, it completely contradicts everything they said when you met that mother, correct?
Yes, I
So,
saw a vulnerable girl.
and what did I tell you yesterday, Araceli? I've been saying this on my shows for years. And Stacy and God is a witness to this. I've known this. Hi, Stacy girl. I've known this for a very long time. And it was so hard for me to convey this to people that call me, parents that call me. It was so hard for me to convey this to them because they couldn't process that the system would actually steal innocent children from innocent parents. However, when I mentioned years ago about the adoptive homes, a lot of parents did not know this. There are adoptive homes, and this woman right here is a living proof of that it is true. There is adoptive homes and there's placement homes. Am I right, Araceli?
Yes.
And they do, like you said earlier, they do ask you what type of baby you want, whether it's a white baby, Mexican baby, black baby, mixed baby, Japanese baby, Chinese baby, Middle Eastern baby. It doesn't matter. They want her to say what type of baby they're looking for. You know why? Because when they find that baby, when they get that baby, or when they steal that baby, bitter words to choose, stealing the baby, they want to place that baby in her home depending on her preference, her and her husband. Now, she's vulnerable too. She didn't know how the system works. She just thought this is the way to adopt. Am I right or wrong,
Right.
Araceli? Okay. And how
Right.
did you know about this? Who told you that this is the way to adopt?
I signed up. I went to a fair at Pomona Fair and did everything so fast. On the same day, we got all the paperwork done, and I was surprised that they had a little car there that was like a station to do the fingerprinting, and they did everything so fast for us. Especially when I mentioned I wanted to, foster to adopt
Okay.
and babies.
Right. And that and this is a fair you went to, right?
Yes,
What was the name of that place where they signed you up in? What was it called? Do you remember?
it was a church. It was a church. They had all these booths and all the agencies, and they had different like set up cars where they had stations, and they had even like you could do your health, if you were missing anything, or to do the CPR, and it was just everything super express to me fast.
And that was a church, right?
I was at a church.
I did a show one time about a pastor, um, and I'm Christian, and I do believe with all my heart. Not everybody that believes in Christ is actually saved. Um, I did a show about a pastor who was actually working with CPS one on one, and he was involved with the father, and that father thought he can trust the pastor. But then his name was George, by the way, and I hate that his name is George. And that pastor was working with CPS, and he was literally using the father information to give to CPS. And that was a pastor, for God's sakes. Okay. So when she mentioned right now a church, that took me back to this person. And I'm telling you guys, this demonic entities, whether it's here, New York, New Jersey, whether it's in Oklahoma, Oregon, whatever, it doesn't matter. They're all demonic, literally demonic. They lied to CPS lied to Araceli and told her that they're going to take the baby back after she already bonded with the baby. But the reason they took the baby from her, they gave her lies. Their lies is, we're going to put the baby with the grandmother. Not true. They placed the baby in another adoptive home, but this home has way more money than Araceli could ever possibly have. So she's been waiting on the waiting list. So she's going to get the end of like a baby maybe that nobody wants. That's the only baby they would place. But once a home was open that have a lot of money, they put the baby in that home. Lied to her and told her the baby is going with a grandmother. Am I right?
Right.
There you go. So everything you're telling us is like literally everything that was revealed years ago. And I can't emphasize enough to you guys how much this woman is broken. And she worked with CPS, meaning she contracted with CPS, right, to be a foster mom to adopt.
Right.
There you go. Stacy, I know you just got on. I know you were busy, but I know you know a little bit of what I said, and I repeated it so you can understand what this is all about. This is so important to me because the truth always sets us free. And Araceli is also a God believer, and I am so proud of her right now that she is literally not afraid of the devil, not afraid of his demons, and God is with her and with us. And I'm telling you right now, I can't emphasize enough how many innocent parents are losing their children because of money and because of the incentives they get to adopt. Around the holidays, don't fool yourselves, people. Do not fool yourselves. Around the holidays is when they attack you the most. Araceli mentioned it. She said that her phone was literally blowing up. She told me that last night, and I believe her because that is the God honest truth. And that also came from the social workers that resigned from the department in Monterey Park, LA County. Um, her and I are very good friends. The other one was from Sacramento, and I told you guys that before. And she told me a lot of shit about LA County. And let me tell you, and not just tell me, she showed me. I'm letting you guys know right now, if you guys don't wake up and lawyer up, you're going to lose your rights to your baby. And don't ever think that you're going to get your baby back. Even if your baby is placed with their dad, you're not going to get that baby back. I'm telling you, babies are in high demand because they want to adopt these babies. Araceli is not the only adoptive home that is working through CPS. I'm just letting you know there are millions of adoptive homes all over the United States who are looking to adopt. Araceli, if I'm wrong, please correct me. If anything I said to you, to everyone, what's your feedback of what I just said right now?
No, it's fine. It was just unfortunate that we were misled and that we were taken advantage of because we had the one to be the adopted parents, was like we were an easy target for them to use us.
Exactly. And you guys are innocent too, believe it or not. A lot of foster parents, I'm learning more and more that they have no idea what's going on. In fact, we have a Mary Beth right here. She had no idea what was going on. I'm not saying she's a victim of CPS. I'm saying that she is someone who's watching to see what's really going on with the system and how the system is running. And just to let you guys know that people are watching, people that you guys don't even know are watching, important people are watching. And people that actually serve their country, people that actually are sitting on the Senate seat, people are actually, they're watching. But I'm not talking about Democrats. But anyways, this is something that is extremely important to bring awareness. And Araceli is going to team up with me and Stacy, and we're going to expose them to the max. We're going to expose them by name. We're going to expose them by county. We're going to expose them by supervisor. We're going to expose all of them. My girls, one of them is right here. Can't show her face. Right here, sitting right here, and she is willing to fight to the max.
Miss G, can I ask Araceli some questions?
Of course, please go.
Okay. My very first question to Araceli is, have you ever been threatened to not speak publicly on this?
No.
Good. Are you concerned at all there may be retaliation for coming forward on this?
Yes.
What are some of your fears?
Concerns. Concerns is a better word.
Concerns, yes.
Yeah. So they have held my payment after I did a grievance report. The following month I didn't get the payment for the children I had in my care. They the supervisors have been very um, rude and very like negative towards me for simple matters. Like there was an ongoing investigation, and I felt like not the support, but the pressure, and it was soon after this happened.
So yeah,
So
there
you,
is pressure.
so you currently have children in your care as a foster parent.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to protect you a little bit here. And I'm going to also state publicly that I have concerns you will be retaliated on further, because we're going to put this out there so that if they do something, we're going to say, we expected this to happen because you're being a whistleblower right now. Okay. So to protect you, I think you need to be concerned for false allegations being made against you by the caseworkers. I think, as you said, there may be more financial retaliation and battery. I think you have to be very concerned that they will intentionally put some children into your care that they know to cause problems, and then they're going to pit you to be the problem and not the child they knowingly put in your care. Be careful for kids that might be prone to arson or things like that. Being intentionally put into your care. What are some other ways that we know that they retaliate, Ms. G? False arrest. You'll be probably put on a police watch, because police are also employees of the state. So be careful for false arrest. What else, Ms. G?
What they don't understand, these hyenas, demonic idiots out there, social workers, is that Araceli is going to be protected to the max, and this is going to go to the media. And when I say media, I'm talking about TV stations, the news. What do you think?
Well, Ms. G, the thing is
well, not all of them, but I know one station that would definitely want to speak with Araceli.
I'm not going to say that the mainstream media won't report on this. However, there are incentives for the media to not report on this, which is basically the beauty of your show, Ms. G, because for people to learn the truth and know the truth about what's going on, they can't watch on mainstream media, because oftentimes mainstream media filters out the really important details that the public ought to know. However, I'm going to say, I do hope and pray that some mainstream media will cover this, because rightfully the public does and should have a right to know.
Yeah. And I do believe I will do what I can. And I know I'm going to be successful in this, because I will expose them. And all three of us right now on this platform, we will succeed. And my friend here is giving me the thumbs up. That means she agrees with me. She was a social worker who resigned from the Department of Children and Family Services in Los Angeles County. These mother F's are going to have a thing coming to them. And let me tell you, they better be freaking doing the right thing, because they think I'm joking, and I'm not joking. I've been after them for years. It's been years, but it takes years. You know, Rome, my friend keeps telling me Rome was not built in a day. I wanted to build this in a day. That's what I wanted to do. That's how passionate I am about exposing these demons. And, I mean, this is real shit.
No.
This is real. This woman is so innocent. I'm saying this to you guys to let you know that this is not a conspiracy theory, right? As always, remember this. A liar would always will always make you question your reality. A liar, a pathological lying sack of shit, will always make you question your reality. And that type of person is called narcissist. Remember that. And that's what the system is. They are narcissists, because none of them deserve to go through this. But if you have any more questions, I do agree with you, Stacy. They will try to retaliate against Araceli, but again, she's protected. because she already spoke about it here on the show before it even. Well, they are retaliating against her already because she filed a 388 grievance, right? They already retaliated against her. But even if, God forbid, they come after her it harder, then she's protected because she already mentioned this on the show today.
You do.
Oh no.
She came from school.
Show him. Don't show him. Don't show the baby. Don't show him. So cute.
Araceli, have you
Yeah.
ever socialized with other foster? I don't even want to call them parents sometimes, some of these people, but have you ever socialized with other foster parents?
Yeah.
And have you ever heard or witnessed firsthand knowledge discussion of fosters abusing and neglecting children?
No.
You have not.
They have where we meet. It's at the. Let me move. Hold on.
Take her out. She's gonna move, and I will put her back on. I'll put you back on, Araceli, after you move your computer. Those are good questions, Stacy. But I'm gonna protect her. I am.
Yeah.
So when we meet, it's at a DCFS office. So if they are concerned, it's not definitely not something that they're gonna talk about there.
There.
Yeah.
Because I was wondering, you know, sometimes if you ever hear things through the grapevine, have you ever heard of foster parents being indicated or having children removed because of abuse or neglect?
From the foster parents' home?
Yes.
No, the social worker telling you that the foster parent or a foster parent that had the children or the child was abusing the child.
No, they haven't said, they haven't. The social worker telling me no.
They would never say that.
No, they wouldn't discuss
Even
it.
if that was the case, they won't say it.
Yeah, they won't say it. They would only say it. They would only spread lies about the actual parents. The actual parents, they will spread lies against. Yeah. So they deceive, they manipulate. What else? They divide, deceive, manipulate, divide, and conquer. Why? Because they start with a lie, right? Second, they deceive the person they're lying to with false information. Third, they divide the person from the child. And the last one is what? Conquering, meaning coming after the victim. Did I say that right? No?
I think you did. Divide and conquer. What's there's a Latin for that. But yeah.
Yeah, divide and conquer. And here Noelle Cook said, I am going through the similar, but I am the mother. She's going through a similar situation, but she is the mother. Now, oftentimes, how many times have you heard, Araceli, that the parents are doing drugs, or the parents abusing the child, or the parents sexually molested the child, or this and this and that? How many times have you heard that?
Yeah, that's like 80% of the cases.
Yeah.
That's interesting, Miss G. Because what do you know, Miss G?
About what? I know a lot of stuff.
What's the main cause for removal of children from their parents?
Abuse and neglect.
Neglect.
Or, well, abuse and neglect, yeah.
No. Neglect. Because they're removing kids from parents wrongly when the parents only maybe did some form of neglect, but then they're lying to the fosters saying that there was abuse.
Oh, that
The
part,
main
yeah.
reason children are removed is neglect.
Mm-hmm.
But here you have a foster saying 80% of the time CPS is saying that it was abuse and drugs. It's a mismatch.
Is that right, Araceli? Did we understand you correctly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they don't mention neglect on there.
They even speak about their personal situation, which they shouldn't, but they almost want to confide in you. And I don't know, but they do say really, really bad stories, horrific, to to damage their
Damage the reputation of the parent.
their reputation. Yes.
Okay, who does
But
that
also-
best? What doesn't? No, wait, hold on a second. I'm gonna let you say what you need to say, Stacey, but I want to
Go ahead.
address this point. I told you guys the system is narcissistic. What does a narcissist do? They damage one's reputation first. They damage their reputation first to someone else and act like they're the victim, right? So the same thing I said to you guys, the system, CPS are narcissistic. Our court system, they're narcissistic judges, narcissistic attorneys, narcissistic district attorneys. Look at Fannie Willis, okay? All of these people are narcissists. A narcissist is the only one that can keep up a job like that. I'm telling you right now, no normal person, and I'm talking about court-appointed attorneys here. I'm not talking about, other attorneys. No, I'm talking about court-appointed attorneys, district attorneys, all of them, and judges, all of them, all to blame. Even the court reporters. You have to be a narcissist to keep up the charade. They played the victim with Araceli. They talked crap about the parent, shared personal information with her about the parent. That is illegal because they don't want to make this public record, but yet they're damaging the parent's name with a foster adoptive home family, even though they're contracted with CPS. Again, is a different role. They should not have disclosed anything like that. Stacey, go ahead.
So my point to that is it's also the effect that the foster has on the child in their care. Because if a CPS caseworker presents such a horrible, salacious image of the parent, then the foster isn't going to be like, your mom and dad really love you. They just didn't get you to school enough. We're working on this to get it better. They're going to be like, well, yeah, your parents, we don't want to talk about them. And that's to create more of a distance of the child from their parents so that reunification is even more unlikely. And perhaps the child will even say they don't want to be reunified because they're horrified of the things that are coming through the foster's recollection to the kid.
But they also convince the children that their parents are bad. Even the child, when the child even knows the parents are not bad, now all of a sudden, the children automatically, when you try, that's why I said, God said, guard your ears, guard what you hear. Because oftentimes when the child is told that so much, they believe it.
Right.
Then they start talking about it that, yeah, mom and dad did that. Mom and dad did this. And then the foster parent is clueless and saying, oh my God, the children admit it, right? It's all psychological abuse, psychological training, brain training a child. And I want to ask you something, Araceli. How many children did they give you that they told you that they need medication? They need to be medicated?
At least 3 in last year.
Okay, so 3 children last year were told to be medicated. What was the youngest age that you had that had to be medicated?
The youngest was 15.
15. Now, have you heard of any ages from 2 and up that usually medicate the children 2 years old and up?
No.
Okay. Well, you haven't had really that many, right? To begin with.
I've had, I want to say 12, 13 kids in my care.
Yeah. In the course of 5 years, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. But there's what they do is they medicate the children. And the reason for that is, I don't know if you know the reason or not, but they medicate them because they want them silent. Then they blame the parents when the children react. But they're actually reacting towards what? Alienation, and they're reacting towards the medication. Right? And I didn't tell you this, Araceli, but Stacey is a physician assistant, and she knows a lot about the drugs that they give the children. And I forgot the name of the drug. What was the name of the drug, Stacey?
Well, they use a variety of things, but one of them is Zirpraxa or Risperdal. But I also wanted to ask Araceli, when you had children in your care who were on psychological medications, was your payment increased as a foster?
Triple the amount.
Triple.
Triple the amount. Did you hear that? So the money that they're getting from our paychecks, or from our hard or earned money,
Wouldn't you say that's a financial incentive to put kids on unnecessary drugs?
yes, it is, because the pharmaceutical companies also pay them big deal when they introduce a certain drug to anyone or any child or even any adult, young adult. The pharmaceutical companies, the company, they make trillions and trillions of dollars because of this.
The youth that I had in my care that was taking medication was affected so much mentally that we had to take them to a mental hospital.
See?
And then they were upset that I had dropped them off there. But I couldn't bring them back with me because we had other kids in our care. And he just wasn't doing well.
Because the medication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's the medication. If he doesn't take the medication, right, he's probably
Yeah.
going to withdraw from it, but he's going to get better. He's going to get better. But the medication is what drives the children insane. And then the children run away, and then they get on the street, and then they're sex trafficked. They are foster parents who are aware, and I know 4 who are aware that when they have a placement of a teenage girl, the first thing they tell them, if she runs away, let her, don't call the police, call us.
Oh.
Is that right?
Miss G, can you?
Am I right on Araceli on that one?
I have heard that from other colleagues when we go to the meetings that it is strange that they get upset if they're calling the police. They say, well, technically she's not doing anything. You're sleeping, and in the morning you find out she's gone. We can't do anything about that.
Yeah, you can't call the police though. You're advised not to call the police. I know, believe me, this girl right here, God bless her, she was a social worker. She showed me text messages. She said the supervisor would always say, do not call the police. Why? Because they want that girl to run away. They want her sex trafficked. That's exactly it. If the girl went to the parents' house, for example, if she found the mom or the dad, they will go and arrest the parents.
Miss G, I love you, and I want to talk about this, but I want to go real quick back to the psychotropic medications.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Were you ever educated about these issues? Number 1, off-label use of psychiatric medications. 2, black box warnings. Or 3, increased risk of suicide with prescribing psych medications. Were you ever educated as a foster about these things when they were prescribed?
No.
They're supposed to, right, Stacey?
What's that?
They're supposed to be informed.
Yeah, that's medical malpractice and negligence. Now I just wanted to get that out there, but now I want to go on to runaways because that's a near and dear topic to me. And Miss G, she's right and you're right. I want to talk about the research that's out there, okay? In the year 2014, well, first of all, let's talk about Epstein and the fact that many of his victims were through the child protective system, okay? And the loophole to that is kids were deemed runaways when they really weren't. And then again, you as a foster parent and the supervisors were advised not to report to police when a child was a runaway. So this was the loophole on how they would traffic children. And Ms. G is right, it leads to child sex trafficking. Everything points to child sex trafficking. If you go to the website on missing and exploited children, the research that's on there, the kids that are most likely to be sex trafficked are runaway youth. And there's studies and stories on how not just you, but across the board, all the states were not reporting to police. So even though when CPS is ever confronted with, a crime, they're supposed to report to police, or a child that's running away, they're supposed to report to police. They weren't. So in 2014, they created the Prevention of Sex Trafficking and Safe Families Act that CPS must report to police when a child has run away. And the reports of missing and exploited children went up 300% in just a few years after this act went into place. So you have to think about all the CPS caseworkers that were not aware of this act and continued their patterns of practice that before 2014. So this is just a fraction of those who actually knew of this act going into place and their obligation to notify police. And reports of missing children went up 300% in a few years. And on top of that, the United States Department of State puts out that report every year on human trafficking throughout the world. And every year it says the main place children are sex trafficked is through our foster system. So here we have witness from Araceli saying, and Ms. G's other caseworker saying they were advised not to call the police when children were runaways. This is horrific because we are the #1 hub in the world of child sex trafficking, and this is how it happens.
Exactly. And also, Araceli, I have a question to ask you. Did they ever tell you that when the child has a visit with the relative or the biological parent, did they ever tell you to tell the children that the mother didn't show up today or the father didn't show up today? Did they ever say that the father and mom couldn't see the child? Did they ever say that did they ever advise you to say that to the children?
No, but when the baby was starting to see the mom, the baby that was removed from my care, um, she would tell me whenever, because if I couldn't supervise the visit, she would just cancel. That social worker would just cancel. And she would tell me, oh, mother didn't call me to confirm for a visit. And I learned through the mother that she did. She kept calling and she just wouldn't pick up.
Can you repeat that again?
Yes. So whenever I wasn't able to supervise the visit, she would say to me, the social worker, that mother didn't call to confirm. They were supposed to call day before, and she would say to me the mother wouldn't confirm. But grandma would tell me, no, mother was calling, and they wouldn't get the answer from the social worker to confirm for the visit.
And they lie, obviously. Like I said, this is why you guys, all of you guys that call me for help, legal help, and I tell you guys, they tell your children lies like this. They say lies. They say lies to the foster home. They say lies to their kids, and your kids don't know the truth, and the foster parents don't know the truth. They just go by what they hear from a system they think works for the best interest of the child. Am I right or wrong, Araceli? Did you think ever in your life that CPS is not for the best interest of the child?
No,
You thought it always worked, huh?
unfortunately, yes.
And why do they say why do they have to divide you from the parents? Why do you think, Araceli, they have to divide you from the parents by spreading lies? Why do you think that? Now that you know a little glimpse of the demons.
To
Why
manipulate to
right.
manipulate the situation and to give them a bad reputation. When I have been able to make contact with the parents and I've been able to establish a relationship and us agree on the visitations and I have time to supervise those visitations, I have been able to get the parents to reunify with their children. But
You have
I
or you
can
haven't?
almost count maybe two.
Two? You
I don't know,
only got
two.
two parents reunified with their kids?
Yes.
God bless you, Araceli. There's a lot of foster homes or foster parents are not like Araceli. They're still in the dark. They can't see the truth in front of them. God revealed the truth to her after her and I spoke, and I told you I shared a lot of stuff with you, Araceli, and you said, "Oh my God, that's right, that's right, that's right." There's stuff that I shared with you that you didn't even mention to me, and you said, "That's true." There's a lot of things that you guys are not aware of. I'm telling you right now, it's worse than that. It's worse than that. because some of the social workers, I can't say all because I hate them all, but some that I know of personally date cartels. Okay? And we're talking about the don't think that the cartels are only like a 20-year-old or a 50-year-old or a 60. No, all ages. All ages. So I'm letting you know right now that oftentimes a social worker will take on that role because they want to sex traffic certain types of children. And that's why there's a higher need of social workers, and that's why they take on that role, and that's what they're advised to get children who are to be sex trafficked, to take on the role of working for the Department of Children and Family Services. We've heard about a case in New York where the foster parents, right, were sex trafficking to children, 9-year-old and 11-year-old. And the children told the social workers, and they blind eye, completely turned the other way. Right? So how many times have we seen the story where the 16-year-old, the foster child, who recorded the social worker in front of the social worker's building, saying, the worker telling her to be a prostitute and she will get her a room. Now that hyena piece of shit went to jail. Now let's put all of them in jail. Let's expose all of these corruption and put them all in jail.
Araceli, when we were talking about the runaways and CPS advising you not to report to police, think about how scary this is. Where I live in Niagara County, New York, an attorney for Child Protective Services named Nicholas DAngelo was hired by CPS when it was public knowledge at the time of his hiring that he was a sex offender and pedophile, because in his younger years, he raped a 14-year-old in a school hallway or sexually assaulted. I don't know the exact details. And that's public knowledge because you can look up the story.
Yep.
They hired him knowing he was a sex offender. And what happens when you put a sex offender as an attorney working for Child Protective Services? The predictable and likely thing happened. He sex trafficked a 16-year-old girl who was a ward of the state and raped several women. There were 13 felony charges of rape initially brought up against him. At the end, they charged him. He pled guilty to 11 felony counts of rape. Guess how much time he did in jail?
I think it's 6 months, right?
4 months.
4 months.
And think about that combination when CPS is telling you not to report runaways, but yet they knowingly hire perpetrators to work for the system. So when those children are running away and they're telling you not to call the police, who do you think is coming to pick those kids up?
Sex traffickers.
And then you have the reports from U.S. Department of State, our own government, admitting we are the worst country in the world for child sex trafficking, and predators get access through the foster system.
That is true. This is all public record, you guys. You guys can check all this out. It's public information.
And on this show, we revealed from Niagara County, New York, 2 other attorneys working for Niagara County CPS at one time or another who also apparently sex trafficked children, but those 2 people are yet not held accountable. One is a law clerk to a judge, and the other is a public defender.
But they believe me when I tell you this. If they give 4 months to this asshole,
they're not looking for these other people.
Father accused of molestation when it's not true, even if the child says it's not true, they put him in jail for 5 years? Or to life? I don't know. But a scumbag, an attorney found guilty, only 4 months.
And they hid the fact that the 16-year-old was in DSS custody.
Yeah.
And that is child sex trafficking.
Epstein, if you recall, there was a documentary made. Can't remember when it was aired, but a lot of the kids that were in his custody were driven to him by a social worker. I'm not joking, you guys. It was sent to him by a social worker. That's why they had to kill him. Even though they said that he committed suicide, he didn't. They had to kill him because he knew too much. And the state don't want to be found. Am I right or wrong, Stace?
Ms. G, that is literally the reason why I feel that The Sound of Freedom was filmed in another country, because that movie details how it took them 5 years and a lot of loopholes to jump through to get that movie released. Yet just detailing sex trafficking in another country and only having a sentence at the end saying the United States is the main hub in the world.
Yeah.
So just imagine if they did put that movie in the place was in the United States, then they would have to show how it's our actual own government and CPS doing this. And then that movie would have never, ever, ever been able to be released.
But wait a minute. No, everybody rejected Mel Gibson for that movie. Nobody wanted to fund the movie. Nobody.
Yeah, I mean, they went through all these problems, and it was detailed in another country, but at the end it says, you know, that the United States is the main hub in the world.
True. And I want to read. I'm sorry, Stacey, but I want to share this with everybody before I forget. I've had this on my desk since January, and I forgot to share it with you guys. I want you guys to listen to this real quick. Biden newly proposed rule for the foster care system effectively bans Christians from fostering children. This is was written and released on January 19, 2024 by writer Jenna Curran, Curren. The source of this document is from Law Enforcement Today editorial. This is right here. I had to print it out.
What does he want? Every foster to be satanic?
Yeah, that's what he wants. He's banning all Christians who are fostering children. Like literally no fostering children for Christian people at all. If you're Christian, no fostering children. Does that sound anything similar to anything they asked you when you're muted. You're muted, Araceli.
Sorry.
Did they ever ask you what religion are you and all this? Please tell me.
Yes.
I knew it.
They know I'm Christian. They know I'm Christian, and I know I'm not their favorite for that reason.
Yeah. And also, but you've been a fostering for 5 years. So this was before the January 19th, 2024. Way before.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, Biden, the scumbag that you guys think is great, newly proposed rule for the foster care system to effectively ban Christians from fostering children. That was written by Jenna Curran on January 19th, 2024. The source is Law Enforcement Today editorial. I actually did my homework on this, and it's true. No wonder.
In all fairness, Miss G,
mm-hmm.
In all fairness, they should ban every religion from fostering. That would abolish the system.
No. Let me tell you a true story, though. And Araceli, you're going to be part of us. And I'm going to email a new station that I trust about you. I already emailed them about Stacy. And I have a feeling we're all going to be speaking about this soon. So I want to explain something to you, okay? 2 years ago, I used to get calls from Middle Easterns, Muslims, parents, Chinese parents, Buddhist parents. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, God, I've been with Davis for so long. I've never heard of a Muslim losing their children. I'm not joking. I swear to God, I'm not joking. And all of a sudden, it started increasing. You guys are not going to believe where they were putting the children of a Muslim family. They were putting them in a gay and lesbian home, who were changing the sex of the child. So if they have a boy, the parents see them putting clothes of girls on the boys and makeup. If it was a girl, they see the girl looks like boys, like a boy. Of course, they lose their mind. Whether you're Muslim, Christian, whatever value you have, whatever your belief is, a parent should never lose their rights, ever. But they're putting them with gays and lesbian homes. You want to elaborate on that? Anything? I mean, did they even ask you if, I don't know. Did they even ask you if you know any gay couple that wants to be a foster parent? Have you ever been asked that question, Araceli?
Unfortunately, that's what we see the most of. And the I'm not going to mention, but there was an organization who asked us to be the face of their campaign to take pictures so that they can see Hispanics couples um in their campaign. But I was amazed because this this campaign is mainly with by governed by gun gay couples, and I thought it was rare that they were choosing us to be a part of the campaign, but we did it. Soon after that, we learned that they received a really good check um, because they were now working with Hispanics and with couples of those. And
The
not
gay
necessarily
couple.
just gays. Yeah. So I thought, oh wow, that's why then, again, they used us.
Wow. Oh my God. I'm not shocked, Araceli. I'm sorry. I'm just, my heart hurts. Like it's in pain.
Mm.
Like I'm literally, my heart is in my knees. Like literally, I mean, but do you see that, Stacy? Hey, I have nothing against gays, man. You do your thing, but don't fuck our family. Don't fuck our family. That's all I have to say.
It's all about following the
Yep.
financial incentives and trail.
Yep.
It's not about the best interest of children or care or concern. It's about the money grab.
Well, why are they paying attention so much to gays and lesbians homes? Think about it for a second. They want to what? That what do demons want? Again, they want to separate us from God and what is right and what is wrong.
They
Right?
actually wrote an article saying that the owner to this organization wrote an article saying that the children were better off and more healthy at homes with gay couples than with a home with mom and a dad.
They want to teach to condition the children to think home is not about mom and dad. They think home is about dad and mom and mom. That's not what God intended to be. So I'm not trying, to say anything about them, but other than I know my belief system, I believe in what I believe. You believe in what you want to believe. That's all cool. That's fine. But don't enforce your bullshit on families. That's all I'm saying. Don't enforce it on families. I mean, Stacy, please say something before I jump in the screen and hurt someone.
Well, I just want to talk to Araceli about the 2018 Families First Act and Prevention of Services. Okay.
Wow.
Research actually shows that children thrive better when they are kept within their own family. So even if the parents can't care for the children, they're supposed to go to another family member. Even the law in New York State says that a close friend of the family is considered a kinship family member eligible to care for the child and keep the child in the family. So it's a fallacy that CPS is trying to advertise that stranger gay fosters do better than biological families. So first of all, it's the law. It's the Families First and Prevention of Services Act of 2018. And CPS is supposed to use the kinship navigator programs and things like that. They're supposed to do a search for a suitable family member at onset before removal, and another search again before termination of parental rights. Kids are supposed to be in their families, not with stranger LGBTQ or whatever other alphabet or ethnicity that you want to talk about that's different from their own. They thrive better in the care and custody of their own family. That's what research says, not what CPS has a financial incentive to promote.
Exactly. Do you understand? You understand that, Araceli, right? You're
Yes.
a God woman. You understand that.
Yes.
I want to read something real quick for Wendy. Wendy, I know you're distraught right now because you lost your parental rights today in court, and I know that you can't. You know, your sentences is not very clear, but I can read between the lines. And you said we just got off court. I guess you meant to say we lost our rights as parenting rights. You lost your parental rights. We lost our children to the system. Emily and Benjamin is going to process for adoption. Today, I am hoping and heartbroken. I need help. I want you guys to, and I know you meant to say yes, but you wrote yeah. I understand you're distraught right now, so you're not making sense right now. But I want you to understand that if you need me, please contact me at 888-888-6582. If you want to text me directly to my work number, it's 626-631-8901. Again, 626-631-8901. Text me your full name, and I will call you. I promise to God I will call you. I mean, even Araceli, I called her. She didn't expect me to call her. I mean, right, Araceli? You're like,
Yeah.
what time did I call you? I can't remember.
I'm glad you called me.
Yeah, it was late, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yesterday?
Yeah. It was late, or was it? I can't remember because I've been calling people until like 10:30 at night.
No, it was in the afternoon.
It was in the afternoon. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do call you back. Just sometimes it takes a while, you know, out the day. But if you get a call from me late at night, maybe 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. I mean, I was like literally stranded, guys, with a raining day last night with a flat tire, and I was still waiting for AAA, and I was calling people back. So that was 8:30 p.m. I started calling people back while I waited for AAA. Okay.
I want to say something.
Yeah.
When you're saying that children are in their best interest with the family members, I sometimes get placement social workers tell me as early as 3 months that if I'm willing to keep the children in my care because they're getting ready for they say that they're getting ready for they don't tell me adoption. They said if I'm interested in legal custody of the children as early as 3 months, and sometimes 6 months they're already talking into it, making it seem like there is no family members that could be eligible to take on the children.
But did you guys hear that? 3 months into the case. What does Davis tell you guys on his shows? Do not. They're already 200 steps ahead of you. They know where they're going to keep that child before they even tell you you're going to lose your parental rights. So what do they tell you guys to do? Classes. Even if you're not a drug addict, you got to go do some drug classes. Even if you don't drink alcohol, they make you go to what do they call the alcohol places? What's the name of it again?
Are you talking about Alcoholics Anonymous?
There you go, an Alcoholics Anonymous, whatever, clinic or whatever. Whatever, if there's no domestic violence, they will create domestic violence. Write some shit on documents that it was due to domestic violence when there is no domestic violence to begin with. All right? So they're attacking you guys because they want your babies, they want your children to make money. You guys don't understand. Look at a social worker nowadays, what they drive. I have seen social workers with Lexus and Teslas. I can't afford a Tesla if I worked a million years. right? I still can't afford a Tesla, especially working, but whatever. But you know what I mean. I can't afford a Tesla, bottom line. So these people can afford these cars because they are what? Kidnappers. They're freaking kidnappers, man. This is why do not wait the 6 months or the 3 months. You have to lawyer up immediately, for God's sakes. Araceli made a point.
They're already busy.
Yeah, they're already planning.
They're already busy promising your kids elsewhere. Well,
Yes.
you think that you have a chance to get them back.
Yes. You guys don't know. We have a big case in New York right now. I'm telling you right now. The only person that knows is Stacy, and I'm going to keep it that way. All I'm saying to you right now is that this shit is real. They don't care if you fought for your country. They don't care if you don't have any drugs. They don't care if the doctor prescribed you medication. They don't care.
They want money.
They want money. They want your children. Bottom line, that's it. I wanted Araceli to be part of this. I hope you can be part of my team with Stacy and my other two girls. Actually, one of them is from Monterey Park, LA County courthouse. I mean, LA County. Monterey Park is where she used to go when she was working. The other one is in Sacramento, but she comes to visit us once in a while, like at least twice every 4 months or so. Okay, so all I'm saying to you right now, if you want to be part of us, please let me know, Araceli. I would like you to be part of the team.
Yes. Thank you.
I
would like to
thank you, Araceli, for your courage to come forward and speak. Yeah. I don't know, Miss G, what so far has been the most shocking to you? I know you know all of this, but just to hear it sometimes, even though you knew it, what's the most shocking to you?
The most shocking to me is the gay couple home and how they're introducing that gays are the best fit for the children than the actual parents. That's the most shocking to me right now. But everything else Araceli told me, I already told her. I know everything she said to me. I told her before she said it to me. Am I wrong, Araceli? I said a lot of stuff to you before you said it to me, right?
Right.
Yep.
For me, I knew the research. Obviously, I just verbalized it without even looking anything up. So I knew the research about missing and exploited children, that they're usually from foster care. The kids that get sex trafficked are usually from foster care. Runaway youth are the ones that are vulnerable. I knew all the research, but just hearing a foster parent being told not to report to police, it makes me want to throw up.
Oh, I know about that one. That shocks you, but I knew about this. I talked about it.
We knew. Yeah. I know. That's what I'm saying. We knew, but just to hear it
from an actual person that went through it, right? You guys, I know this for years, but the thing is, I spoke to children who grew up in the system. They don't want to be revealed because they want to start a new life. Most of them want to change their names completely. That's how sad it is. I spoke to men and young men and young ladies, and all of them said the same thing. They ran away. They were told the foster home told them that we're not supposed to call the police. So if you guys are gonna run away, I hope you don't, but we're not gonna call the police because we were told not to call the police. So they ran away anyways, and they were searching for their mom and dad, believe it or not. All of them were searching for their parents. And a couple of them told me that when they were running away, they were met by a car with two people in it, two men in the car. And the girls were like, they were following the girls, and they said, hey, DCFS told us to take you. DCFS told us to take you. I kid you not. They showed them badges, everything. Do you know what they were taken? They were taken to Texas. They were taken to Texas.
And what do we know about Texas, Miss G?
Yeah. Traffic.
Yes. What are the worst states in the United States for child sex trafficking?
Texas.
California, Texas, New York, and Florida. Again, and that's again from the U.S. Department of State, our own government admitting this.
Our own government admitted this, that the worst sex trafficking is Texas, California, New York, and Florida.
And what do they all have in common, Miss G?
CPS.
That they border other countries, except Florida is just close to another one.
All I'm saying, you guys, is lawyer up, for the love of God. This is not about anything other than, and please do not say that if we have a heart, we take free cases. No, if you have a heart, you will understand that people work for a living. It's not our fault. The only thing is, I can tell you this: our attorneys work hard. If you want an attorney that will fight for you, you can hire an attorney, but make sure it's a CPS defense attorney or a family law attorney. You want to settle for your free attorney? That's the only free attorney you'll ever get, is a public pretender. That's the only one that you're going to get.
And the public pretender is paid by the state, the judge is paid by the state, and CPS is paid by the state. So they all have the same employer, and they all want to please the same entity, the state.
That's it.
Not you. Yeah. Not you, the state.
It doesn't matter. I had a lady that said to me, well, you guys, what? Something about, you guys say you want to help people and you want to charge us money. No, we didn't tell you to wait until you're TPR'd out. Okay? We didn't tell you that. So the retainer fees are always based on your case and how long your case has been in. You just listened from a God-sent woman. Her name is Araceli. She literally said 3 months into the case, before it was even 3 months, they asked her if she wants to adopt.
You know what else was shocking to me to hear, even though I knew it?
Yeah, did I say that right, Araceli? Did I repeat what you said right? 3 months into the case, they ask you if you want to adopt, right?
If you want legal custody. Yep.
I can't hear you, Araceli. No, you're muted. You're muted. Yeah. No.
Sorry. Yes, it was a sibling set at the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you see that? I want them to hear this, Araceli. They don't believe sometimes. Sometimes they hear from their mommy and daddy, right? I mean, the grandparents, that is, or their relatives or their friends. Just listen to the social workers. Everything will be okay. They just want to make sure the kids are taken care of. No, Grandma and Grandpa, you guys have no freaking idea what you're talking about. Literally have no freaking idea what you are saying right freaking now. Why do you guys think I work long hours? Do you think I bill Davis for those hours? I sure don't. I really don't. I dedicate my freaking life to help you not lose your children.
You know what else was upsetting to me to hear?
Listen.
You know what else was upsetting to hear, Miss G? Even though we know it to already be the truth, but the payment to foster parents is triple once they get placed on mental health medications.
And how many of them are on mental health medication? For God's sakes, 90% of them are on mental health medications. Araceli, am I wrong? I mean, all the kids you get, they all have mental health medication or no?
The majority of them go through the regional, yes. And the sibling set that was that I was told that I can adopt hadn't even gotten the appointment for regional before I was already told that if I was interested in keeping them for a permanent home. So they start looking for permanency at 3 months.
At 3 months. Yeah. That's why Davis said lawyer up immediately. It's not even just Davis. I said it. Stacy said it. Davis said it. Attorney Michael from New York said it. Attorney, oh my God, Matthew Harris from Texas said it. And I love Matthew Harris. And he's a great guy. He's a great attorney. He said the same thing. Do not wait. Get an attorney immediately. You guys think we're saying this for money. No, we're saying this because it's the truth. It's the God-honest truth. So don't hire a family law attorney and blame the attorney fucked up your case. Right? And I keep telling you every freaking show, please make sure you hire a CPS defense attorney, not a family law attorney. Not a family law attorney. So guess what? A CPS defense attorney, of course the retainer is going to be high because you're fighting state and freaking county. You're fighting the state attorney. You're fighting the county attorney. You're fighting the freaking district attorney. You're fighting everyone and their mama. And, oh, the child has an attorney. Even an infant that can't speak has an attorney that the attorney would say, and I heard it today in court, the attorney would say things like, well, the child said is the child is abused. How? The child is 2 months old. How was the child abused? How? Just tell me how. No drugs in the baby system. There's no drugs in the mama system. And the hospital wrote a letter to the freaking judge in LA County that there's no drugs found. But they said, the hospital said. You guys don't know how deep it gets. Yes, I shout. Yes, I get passionate. But I'm saying this for God's sakes because the children are the most important thing to me. I am not joking you. Your children are the most important thing to me. And the most important thing to Stacy and the most important thing to Arceli, who's trying to be a mom.
And not only that, Miss G, but as you're talking to people and we're exposing the corrupt nature of the system, I hope this speaks to parents out there who do have problems. If they're using drugs or doing things that they shouldn't, that they think are, on the edge of what they should or shouldn't do with their kids, be so careful. If this, hopefully, if you're listening to this and you have a problem, clean it up. And hopefully this is the incentive to get yourself cleaned up, because they will take your kids, and getting your kids back will be like fighting to get $1 million returned from them, and they don't want to give it up. So don't invite trouble into your home where there doesn't need to be any, because they'll take your kids and not give them back.
But guys, oftentimes I hear, look, they don't even need you guys to do drugs. They'll make sure you do drugs even if you don't do drugs. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You don't need to
they'll
do
falsify.
drugs.
Right. So you just don't want these people in your home. And like Miss G says, get along. Don't report on family members. Get along.
Get along. Get along, for God's sakes. Get along. Life is too short and you're ruining children.
And this is an attack on our families by our own government. Get along.
See it, do you?
It's a war.
I see it. I'm literally, how many times have I gotten attacked by social workers who are calling me? Numerous times. I just laugh. I don't care about them. You know why? Because a demon is a coward. And a coward will always be a coward. I'm not afraid of cowards. I don't fear cowards. God is with me, and I know that for a fact because he's given me the strength to go forward. And believe me, I don't sleep at night. Ask Stacy. I hardly sleep at night because I'm thinking, and I tell her I don't sleep. I don't sleep. For God's sakes, I'm telling you, I am getting my energy from God himself, and he deserves all praise, not me. He deserves the praise first. I'm telling you right now, God is with me.
And for all fosters out there and other CPS caseworkers and employees, think twice. Think twice. Number one, think outside the box, because think about what you're being told and the incentives for somebody to possibly lie to you. And number two, when you play with fire, you're going to get burned. If you think playing in this fire is going to work out for you, it won't. You're going to get burned, because when the, hits the fan, the first thing that's going to go and they're going to throw under the bus is you. And you're going to suffer the consequences of playing with fire. Get out, expose to the public what the public deserves to know, and stop this corruption and war against our families. It's not going to work out for you.
Lawyer up, and stop being stupid. If you have to call your family all over, call them and start for each one of them to help you financially. But that's why they divide you away from your family, because they're your emotional support and they're your financial support.
And Miss G, as I always promote, get your community to fill the courtroom and court watch. Right, Miss G?
I can't go against what you just said. It's absolutely well said.
It shows the court unity and support, and they're going to have a hard time saying that there aren't suitable and available relatives when there's people filling the courtroom who are suitable and willing.
I want to read something to you. Faye Manny said, in Kentucky, there are only family law attorneys. To get a CPS defense attorney, you've had to go out of state. When I last year and a half, I was researching the whole freaking United States of freaking America of CPS defense attorneys, and a lot of them told me the same thing. I used to be a CPS defense attorney. I will never do that if my life depended on it. They attack attorneys. They attack attorneys' families.
It's career suicide.
I cry sometimes on the show. I freaking digged and I dedicated my fucking self to find the right attorneys who will fight for your rights as a parent in all the freaking United piece of shit states of America. Not one wants to deal with CPS anymore. And you guys think it's just one attorney they're attacking? Oh, no. That's why they give you the free ones that tell you to do what they want you to do. Because the free ones are cowards. All the free public pretenders in the United States of America are all cowards. All the judges in the United States of America are all cowards. And I'm talking about family court. I'm talking about juvenile children court. I don't know about criminal. I don't know about all that. I don't know. But I do know this much. You have more rights as a criminal than you do as a parent. And they know a parent cannot afford hiring an over $100,000 retainer in another state attorney, right? Think about it. Not everybody can afford that. That's why they do what they do. So, Faye, I am sorry, but I do understand what you're saying, because there is no attorney in Kentucky that is willing to fight CPS. And I've been told that from an attorney in Kentucky, and may God have mercy on her souls. Okay. Faye also went said most families here in Kentucky involved with CPS are poor, like we said, always poor. They cannot afford to go outside of Kentucky to get an attorney, and CPS knows this exactly. They went on saying CPS destroyed my family and failed me as a foster child. See, when you are a foster child, they come after you when you have your own children. And Faye, Araceli, I want to ask you a question. How old? First of all, two questions. When you became a foster parent, how long did that take you to be educated on what a foster parent is or what to do as a foster parent? That's
9 months.
9 months.
9 months.
If I may ask, did they promise you more money if the child is special need child?
Yes. Youth or special needs. I didn't take youth before because I thought it was gonna be so hard. Um, but they kept insisting because they said it was a higher pay. When I did, I was, it wasn't the case. That's when we had the first issue with the guy using the medicine. We had to take him to a mental hospital because he wasn't doing well, and it was triple the amount. But it to me, it wasn't worth it. We couldn't handle it because we weren't trained properly. We didn't even know how to give him the medicine.
That child didn't ask for any of this. They are using children for sale. That's it. That's it. That child was not born to be for sale. So, lawyer up. And to all the families out there who are grandparents or relatives or aunts and uncles, get your shit together. Get your fucking shit together. And don't go against your own. Don't go against each other because that's what they want. And don't believe if they come to you and say your daughter said, or your son said, or your son-in-law said, or your daughter-in-law said. That's a lie. That's a fucking lie. And I will tell you this with all my heart. They lie to you 100% of the time. Not 90, not 70, not 50, 100. 100% of the time, the social workers will lie to you. 100% of the time, your court-appointed piece of shit asshole attorney will lie to you. 100% of the time.
And
They
don't
lie to the
fall.
foster homes and foster parents. That's why you guys think the foster parents are against you, because they're being fed all kinds of lies.
And don't fall for that common misperception that, oh, they must have done something wrong. That's a very common misperception, and it's used to divide you and your family. Stick together, fill the courtroom with friends, family, uncles, aunts, your church. Show the courts that you are united against this war on
Yep.
our families and children.
And also, did you guys read this? They said Faye said in Kentucky is $6,000 a month for a special need child. That's why when you have a special needs child, they have a placement home for that. And they probably train all the foster home placements that this is how much you'll get for this child, right? Am I right, Araceli? They will say how much you get for one child if they have autism or whatever. You guys hearing this? I know she didn't elaborate with a yes, but she nodded her head.
Yes.
You get a excessive money when it's a special need child. Now, oftentimes there are evil foster homes. I'm not saying they're all perfect, but you're not going to get. It's very rare to get one like Araceli. Very
You know,
rare.
where we live, there was a case of two parents who were learning disabled, but they owned their own home, they're paying their own bills, they're getting by. And at 2 months, their first child was taken, and it was due to allegations of neglect. Well, how could they have neglected a child within just 2 months? And each subsequent child was immediately removed from the hospital. One of their children was murdered in foster care, and another one was deemed neglected and had to be changed to another family. So the children were more abused and neglected, and one was actually murdered in the custody of Erie County Child Protective Services. So here, they're taking children away from families that are suitable family members. There was a suitable family member that came forward for these children, but they insisted on keeping them in the system to be murdered and neglected.
Yep. And just to let you guys know, the pharmaceutical company, I think the owner died like several years ago, and he's probably rotting in hell now. But anyways, the reason they're using the children as guinea pigs because they're trying certain types of drugs on them. That's what you guys don't understand. They're using different types of drugs on these children. So again, like Faye said, they're giving her child psych medication, or psych medication that with adult dosage. Okay, that only an adult will take that type of amount of pills.
Faye, read up on that and look at each medication and read the prescribing indications. Just like, for example, Risperdal or Zyprexa, they're not even ever supposed to be used above younger than a certain age. And there's really only like 2 conditions. One of them is autism with particular behaviors, or bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder can't even be diagnosed until the child is an older youth. So look up the actual indications for the medications that are prescribed, because most likely they're using an off-label form. Also, I've seen with the runaway youth too, where they'll use chemical restraint to stop a child from running away, even though runaways are usually due to a problem in the house that they're in. So that's a chemical restraint when they're prescribing to stop a child from running away. That's not an indication for its use either. Or you know, again, educate yourself about the use of SSRIs, which some examples will be like Zoloft or Prozac, and their increased risk of suicide in children. Educate yourself about these things, because most likely there's some medical malpractice and negligence in their prescribing habits. And then again, not even informing the foster guardians of things to look out for. And again, these off-label uses that aren't even FDA indicated.
Yeah, exactly. That's why a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, it's a conspiracy." No, it's not a conspiracy theory. This shit is real, but they want the truth to be shut. Why? They don't want the truth revealed because they don't want to be caught. They want to blindside everyone, and you cannot be blinded. You guys cannot allow them to blind you. They know what they're doing. They're experts at what they do. Demons are experts. I can see it, demons, legions of demons having a meeting with the devil. Like, hey, the devil tells them, ask them, hey, are you gonna, there we go. Somebody's at my door. Are you gonna, what did you do to the home of so-and-so? What did you do to so-and-so? Did it work? No, it didn't work. What strategy are you gonna use next? All kinds of stuff.
Those meetings, Miss G, are called permanency meetings.
Yeah, there you go. Permanency. There you go. It's the devil's work. That's all it is. It's the devil's work. And I'm saying to you guys this because I need you guys to literally wake up. You cannot wake up if you're still asleep. You cannot wake up if you're still asleep. And if you're still asleep and you think you're so stressed because the social worker told you you're going to lose your rights, well, guess what? They already knew you're going to lose your rights. That's what they're aiming for from day one. Okay? Day one. If you guys think you have the child placed with the dad, and they tell the dad everything is going to be okay, dad, you're going to keep the child. The dad tells the mom, and then they turn the dad against mom, and then now they're fighting. I know a case like that personally. Now dad and mom are fighting, and the dad thinks he's going to keep the baby. He's mistaken. They're not going to get the amount of funding if the baby's placed with family. They're going to get a lot of money if the child is placed in a foster home. If by any chance they will make that family member a foster family, a foster home, and give them a foster license so they can have the child. Since when you have to be a foster licensed relative? Think about it.
Araceli, a couple things for you to know and understand. So the states receive Title IV federal funding whenever they place children into care. And another reason why CPS pushes children to go into the foster system is because there is no cap on Title IV federal funding the states can receive when the children are put into foster care. But there is a cap on the amount of funding states can receive from the federal government when they place children with their family. So there is a fiduciary incentive to place children in foster care with strangers, even though it's against the law, against the 2018 Friends and Family First Act and Prevention of Services. Okay, so there's a fiduciary incentive for CPS to bypass family and send kids to care of strangers, even though Our government and the research shows children thrive better in the care of their own family.
Yep, that is true. Araceli, I'm gonna have to. There's another show at 3:30. Not somebody else has a show at 3:30. So I want to know and um, if it's okay of me and you and Stacy be in contact, and if that's okay with you, Araceli.
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna contact you later on tonight, and I'm gonna tell you what me and Stacy are gonna have actually a call with you, if that's okay. If Stacy's available, that is. Stacy, are you available for like 10, 15 minutes?
Tomorrow would be better.
Okay, Araceli, is tomorrow better with you?
Uh, tomorrow
It's
uh,
Friday.
afternoon,
Yeah.
for
Is that
sure.
okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Um, thank you, Araceli. I know I'm speaking for Stacy on this one. From the bottom of our hearts, we thank you for doing this because you literally affirmed the truth that's already out there. And me and Stacy have been working endless nights and weekends trying to help parents as much as we can. So thank you so much for doing this. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate everything about you. And may God bless you and your husband. And may God prosper your family with a beautiful child. And
Thank you.
and bring an amazing abundance of love and care in your world. Because right now, no weapon formed against us will ever prosper. Do not ever allow
Amen.
the devil to put thoughts in your head that they are bigger than God. They're not bigger than God. They will never,
Amen.
ever, ever touch you. If you
If
have,
God is for us, who can be against us?
yes, make sure that you understand that. And in the midst of trials and tribulation, you remind yourself that God is with you. Because if you bow down to the devil, if you have fear, that means you don't believe God is with you. I don't believe in fear. I don't believe in fear. Fear is what the devil wants you to do. Is fear
Right.
because he knows when you fear, you're disconnected from God. Fear disconnects you from God. That's why Jesus kept saying, "Be not afraid. Be not afraid. Please be not afraid."
That's right.
Okay? God
I
is one.
agree.
Thank you very much, Araceli. God bless you, sweetheart. And Stacy, I love you from the depth of my soul. And thank you
Love
so
to you, Miss G. And Miss G, you're always right.
it's just
Mm.
this is her MO now. She has to say that every show. I love you.
I'm a
Thank
believer in you,
Thank
Miss
you,
G.
ladies.
All right. Bye, you guys.